Ladies and gentlemen, purpose is not something you find, it's something you uncover. Long before you were formed in your mother's womb, God placed something inside of you. He didn't put you here by accident. You were designed with destiny in mind, but if purpose is already in us, why do so many people feel lost? It's because purpose requires a process. Diamonds don't start as diamonds. They begin as cold, dark, rough, and ordinary. But when they go through the fire, when they endure the pressure, they become what they were meant to be. Some of you are in the fire right now and you're wondering, God, why am I going through this? But I came to tell you that your pain is not pointless. It's preparing you for something greater. You don't have to go searching for purpose outside yourself. Purpose is not something you chase, it's something you uncover. Before you ever took your first breath, before you ever cried your first cry, before you even had a name, God had already placed something inside of you. You were not an afterthought. You were not a mistake. You were intentionally designed, crafted with precision, and sent into this world with a divine assignment. Think about it when an architect designs a building. He first creates a blueprint. Before the first brick is laid, before the foundation is poured, the vision is already set in place. The builder doesn't add purpose later. The purpose is built into the structure from the very beginning. And just like that, your purpose was embedded in your existence before you even knew who you were. It was not given to you by society, by your job, by your circumstances, or by the opinions of others. It was written into your DNA by the Creator Himself. The challenge is that many of us spend our lives looking for purpose as if it's something we lost. We search for it in relationships, in careers, in material things, thinking that if we just achieve enough, earn enough, or find the right person, we will finally feel complete. But purpose is not external, it's internal. You are not waiting to receive your purpose. Your purpose has been waiting for you to recognize it. It's already in you. It was in you when you were a child, before the world told you who you should be. It was in you when you felt different, when you saw the world in a way that others didn't understand. It was in you when you had those dreams that seemed too big, those ideas that felt too bold, those passions that you couldn't shake. Even in your struggles, even in your darkest moments, your purpose has been there, sometimes buried under fear, under doubt, under the weight of life's difficulties, but never lost. Some of us have allowed life to convince us that we are purposeless because of our mistakes, our failures, our setbacks. But let me remind you, purpose does not disappear just because you've been through some things. Purpose is not erased by disappointment. Purpose is not voided by delay. If anything, your journey, every pain, every tear, every challenge is shaping you for what you were always meant to do. Everything you need to fulfill your destiny is already inside you. The gifts, the talents, the vision, the resilience, it's all there. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become who you were always meant to be. You don't need to look outside yourself for validation. You need to look within and recognize what has been there all along. And so the real question is not whether you have a purpose. The real question is whether you are willing to dig deep enough to uncover it. Purpose is not instant. It does not come overnight, and it does not arrive without preparation. Just because you were born with purpose does not mean you will step into it immediately. There is a process that must take place, one that refines you, strengthens you, and prepares you for the weight of your destiny. Think about a seed. When a seed is planted, it does not become a tree the next day. It goes into the soil, buried beneath the surface where no one can see it. At first, it looks as if nothing is happening. The seed is in a dark place, surrounded by dirt, covered by pressure, unable to move. But beneath the surface, something is taking place. Roots are forming. Growth is happening. Even though no one can see it yet, the process has already begun. Many of us are in that season right now. It feels like we are buried, like life has pressed us down, like we are stuck in a place where nothing seems to be happening. But just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean the process isn't working. The challenges you are facing, the hardships you are enduring, the lessons you are learning, all of it is part of your growth. You are being stretched, molded, and shaped into the person you need to be in order to carry the purpose that has been placed on your life. A diamond does not start as a diamond. It begins as cold, dark, rough, unrefined. In its original form, it doesn't look valuable. It doesn't look like something precious. But when coal is placed under intense heat and pressure, something incredible happens. It transforms. It becomes stronger. It turns into something rare, something that shines, something of great worth. Without the process, it would never reach its full potential. The same is true for you. The pressure you are experiencing is not meant to break you. It is meant to transform you. The fire you are going through is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to refine you. Every great person, every leader, every individual who has ever walked in their purpose has had to go through a process. There are no shortcuts. There's no easy way around it. The only way to step fully into your purpose is to go through the refining, the stretching, and the preparation necessary to make you ready. Some people want the reward without the work. They want the blessing without the burden. They want the success without the struggle, but purpose does not come without process. Before David could become king, he had to endure years of hardship, running from Saul, fighting battles, and proving his character. Before Joseph could step into his destiny, he had to go through betrayal, slavery, imprisonment, and years of waiting. Before Jesus could fulfill his ultimate purpose, he had to go through suffering, rejection, and the weight of the cross. You cannot pray away the process. You cannot skip the preparation. You cannot rush what God is developing in you. If you try to step into your purpose too soon, you will not have the strength to sustain it. Purpose requires patience. It requires endurance. It requires the willingness to trust that even when things are difficult, even when doors close, even when you don't understand why certain things are happening, there is a process at work that is making you stronger, wiser, and more equipped for what is ahead. The process is not punishment, it is preparation. It is designed to build you, to shape you, to refine you until you are fully ready to step into the greatness that has been inside you all along. One of the greatest clues to discovering your purpose is passion. Passion is that deep, burning fire inside of you, that unshakable force that keeps calling you even when you try to ignore it. It is the thing that makes your heart race, that excites you, that consumes your thoughts even when you're not working on it. Passion is not just a fleeting emotion, it is a divine compass pointing you toward the very thing you were created to do. Have you ever noticed that certain things stir something inside of you in a way that others don't? Maybe you feel an undeniable pull toward helping people, creating art, teaching, building, speaking, or writing. Maybe there is a particular problem in the world that you just can't ignore. While others pass by and move on, you find yourself restless, unable to shake the thought that something needs to be done. That is not random, it is a sign, it is a signal. It is a whisper from God telling you, pay attention. This is connected to who you are. Think about the most influential people in history, leaders, inventors, entrepreneurs, and world changers. What do they all have in common? They were driven by an unrelenting passion. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just casually care about justice, he was consumed by it. Steve Jobs wasn't just interested in technology, he was obsessed with innovation. Oprah Winfrey didn't just enjoy media, she was passionate about storytelling and changing lives. They didn't just choose a career, they followed a calling that was already inside of them. Their passion led them straight to their purpose. But here's the problem, too many people ignore their passion. They allow fear, doubt, and practicality to silence the very thing that was meant to guide them. Society tells us to be realistic, to play it safe, to choose the path that is secure rather than the one that excites us. So people settle, they take jobs they hate, live lives that feel empty, and convince themselves that their passion was just a silly dream. But passion was never meant to be ignored, it was meant to be pursued. Some of the greatest frustrations in life come from suppressing what we were born to do. When you operate outside of your purpose, you will always feel a sense of emptiness, no matter how much money you make or how much success you achieve. That's why there are people who seem to have it all but are still miserable, because they are living out someone else's expectations instead of following their own calling. Passion is personal. What excites you might not excite someone else, and that's okay. The very thing that people may not understand about you, the thing that makes you different, the thing that people say is too much or too weird about you, that might be the very thing you were born to do. Some of us have been conditioned to shrink, to downplay our passions, to blend in rather than stand out. But your passion is not a mistake, it is a clue. And passion is not just about what makes you feel good, it's about what moves you. Sometimes passion is birthed out of pain. Some of the most powerful purposes come from the deepest wounds. The woman who was abused as a child becomes a counselor for trauma survivors. The man who grew up in poverty starts an organization to help struggling families. The person who battled depression dedicates their life to helping others find hope. Your pain has a way of directing you toward your passion, and your passion has a way of pointing you toward your purpose. The question is, are you paying attention to what sets your soul on fire? Or are you dismissing it as just a passing interest? Are you nurturing that thing inside you, or are you allowing fear and doubt to smother it? Passion is not a coincidence. It is not an accident. It is the roadmap to your destiny, the whisper of God reminding you of who you truly are. Purpose is never just about you. It is never just about your success, your comfort, or your achievements. True purpose is always connected to service. It is about what you can give, how you can impact, and who you can help. If your vision is only centered around yourself, it is too small. If your dreams only benefit you, they are not big enough. Because real purpose, God-ordained purpose, is designed to serve others. Look at the greatest figures in history, leaders, visionaries, and game changers. Every single one of them found their true calling in service. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't fight for personal gain. He fought for the freedom and equality of others. Mother Teresa didn't seek fame. She dedicated her life to serving the poor, the sick, and the forgotten. Nelson Mandela didn't pursue power for himself. He sacrificed decades of his life to free his people. The impact of their lives was not measured by what they achieved for themselves, but by how they changed the lives of those around them. Purpose is about solving a problem. It is about being the answer to someone's need. And that need could be anything. It could be encouragement, leadership, healing, education, innovation, or inspiration. Whatever it is, your purpose will always be tied to making a difference. Think about the gifts and talents you have. They were not given to you for your own amusement. They were given to you to serve. If you have a gift for speaking, it is meant to inspire and uplift others. If you have a gift for business, it is meant to create opportunities and build something that benefits others. If you have a gift for teaching, it is meant to educate and empower. Even creativity, even art, even music, all of it has the power to move, heal, and transform lives. The enemy wants to keep you focused on yourself, your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, so that you never step into fullness of your purpose. Because the moment you realize that your life is meant to serve others, you become unstoppable. When you shift your focus from what can I get to how can I give, everything changes. The greatest example of purpose through service is Jesus. He had all power, all authority, yet he did not come to be served. He came to serve. He washed the feet of his disciples. He healed the sick. He fed the hungry. He spent his time with the broken, the outcast, and the forgotten. His entire mission was one of sacrifice, and because of his service, the world was forever changed. Many people never step into their purpose because they are too focused on what they will gain instead of how they can give. But the paradox of purpose is this: the more you serve, the more you are fulfilled. The more you pour into others, the more your own life overflows. You don't find purpose by chasing success. You find it by embracing service. Some people think they have no purpose because they are looking for something grand, something flashy, something that will make them famous. But purpose does not always look like a big stage or a worldwide platform. Sometimes purpose looks like a mother raising her children with love and wisdom. Sometimes it looks like a teacher investing in the next generation. Sometimes it looks like a nurse comforting a patient in their most vulnerable moment. Purpose is not about being seen, it is about making a difference no matter where you are. And purpose is not limited to a job or a title. You can serve wherever you are, in whatever season you are in. You don't need a position to start walking in purpose. You don't need permission to make a difference. You just need a heart that is willing to serve, a mind that is willing to learn, and hands that are willing to work. True greatness is not measured by how many people serve you, it is measured by how many people you serve. If you are asking, what is my purpose? Start by asking, who am I called to help? Because the moment you discover who you are meant to serve, you will begin to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Walking in purpose is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, audacity, and an unshakable determination to move forward even in the face of fear. Purpose will never allow you to stay in your comfort zone. It will push you, stretch you, and demand that you step into the unknown. If you are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the absence of fear, you will never step into your destiny. Purpose does not wait for you to feel ready. It requires boldness to move even when you don't have all the answers. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles to purpose. It whispers lies that make you doubt yourself. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if they reject me? These questions paralyze so many people, keeping them stuck in mediocrity when they were called for greatness. But here's the truth, fear is a liar. It magnifies problems that don't even exist. It makes mountains out of molehills and convinces you that you are incapable when in reality, you are more than equipped. If you look at the people who have done great things in history, you will realize that they were not fearless, they just refused to let fear stop them. Boldness is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward in spite of it. Every great leader, every innovator, every world changer felt fear at some point. But they didn't allow it to dictate their destiny. They stepped out when others hesitated. They took risks when others played it safe. They moved when others waited. Think about Moses. When God called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, his first response was doubt. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, he asked. He was afraid, insecure, and convinced that he wasn't the right person for the job. But God didn't ask Moses if he was confident. He commanded him to be obedient. And when Moses finally stepped into his calling, despite his fears, miracles followed. The Red Sea parted. A nation was set free. History was changed forever. Or look at David, a young shepherd boy standing in front of a giant that an entire army was too afraid to fight. He had no armor, no military training, no experience in battle, just a sling, 5 stones, and bold faith. While everyone else ran in fear, David stepped forward, not because he was the strongest, but because he knew that purpose demanded boldness. And because of that one act of courage, he stepped into his destiny as king. Purpose will always present you with a moment where you must choose, will you shrink back or will you step up? Will you let fear win or will you push past it? Because the truth is, boldness is not just a suggestion, it is a requirement. You cannot fulfill your purpose by staying silent when you should speak, sitting still when you should move, or hesitating when you should act. Boldness is what separates those who dream from those who do. And boldness is not just about taking risks, it is about standing firm in the face of opposition. The moment you step into purpose, resistance will come. People will doubt you. Some will criticize you. Others will misunderstand you. But you cannot allow the opinions of people to shake your confidence in what God has called you to do. If you live for their approval, you will die by their rejection. Purpose requires you to be so convinced of your calling that no amount of criticism, doubt, or adversity can stop you. Walking in boldness also means refusing to settle. Too many people live beneath their calling because they are afraid to reach for more. They tell themselves that good enough is okay, that playing small is safe, that taking risks is unnecessary. But purpose does not tolerate complacency. It demands that you rise higher, dream bigger, and refuse to accept anything less than what you were created for. And boldness is not just about external actions, it is also about mindset. You have to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. You have to speak life over your own dreams, even when others don't see the vision. You have to carry yourself like the person you are becoming, not just the person you are today. Because boldness is not just about what you do, it is about who you are. It is about embodying confidence, faith, and resilience in everything you pursue. The world is full of people with potential, but only those with boldness will fulfill it. Purpose will require you to take leaps of faith, to stand in rooms where you feel unqualified to start things without knowing how they will end. It will require you to trust God more than you trust your own doubts, to move forward even when the path is unclear, and to believe in the impossible. Because the truth is, your destiny is too important to let fear stop you. Purpose is not something you have to figure out on your own. It is not something you have to chase aimlessly, hoping you'll stumble upon it one day. Purpose is already set. It has already been designed, already been planned, already been orchestrated by the one who created you. And the beauty of walking in purpose is knowing that you don't have to have all the answers because God orders your steps. Every step you take, every decision you make, every turn in your life, even the detours, the delays, and the disappointments, none of it is random. None of it is wasted. God is intentional. He knows exactly where you need to be, when you need to be there, and what you need to go through in order to fulfill your purpose. The problem is that we often struggle with trust. We want to know the full plan before we take the first step. We want God to show us the entire blueprint, to reveal every detail, to guarantee every outcome before we move. But God doesn't work that way. He doesn't give us the whole map. He gives us direction, one step at a time. Because if he showed us everything at once, we would either be too overwhelmed to move or too tempted to take control. Look at Abraham. When God told him his son would go to land, he would show him. He would show him. He didn't give him all the details. And he didn't tell him exactly where he was going, how long it would take, or what obstacles he would face. He simply said, go. And Abraham had to trust that as he moved, God would direct him. That is how purpose works. You don't get clarity before you move, you get clarity as you move. And sometimes the steps God orders don't make sense to us. Sometimes the road he takes us on is not the one we would have chosen. We expect a straight path, but he takes us on detours. We want shortcuts, but he leads us the long way. We want doors to open instantly, but he allows seasons of waiting. Not because he is trying to delay us, but because he is developing us. Not because he is trying to make things difficult, but because he knows that there are lessons we need to learn, strength we need to build, and experiences we need to go through before we reach our destination. Look at Joseph. God gave him a dream of greatness, but before he reached the palace, he had to go through the pit, slavery, and prison. To him, it may have looked like everything was going wrong, but in reality, every step was ordered. The betrayal of his brothers, ordered. The false accusation from Potiphar's wife, ordered. The years spent in prison, ordered. Because without the pit, he wouldn't have ended up in the palace. Without the setbacks, he wouldn't have been positioned for the comeback. God does not just order the easy steps, he orders the painful ones too. He orders the ones that break us, stretch us, and challenge us. And though we may not understand in the moment, we must trust that he sees the full picture. He knows what he's doing. He is aligning things behind the scenes, positioning us in the right places, and setting up divine connections that we can't even see yet. The enemy wants to make you believe that you are lost, that you have no direction, that you are wandering without purpose. But that is a lie. You are exactly where you need to be for this season. Even if it doesn't look like it, even if it doesn't feel like it, God is leading you. The closed doors, the unexpected changes, the things you thought were setbacks, every single thing is part of his divine plan.